We'll need a gurney and a hangar bay. ETA 19.
Death at the gates again. Howling my name. Come on in, old buddy. Sorry I made you wait.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Wolfenstein II, I Am Death Incarnate, no upgrade walkthrough. This is a level called New Orleans 2 because I don't quite know the modifier for the level breakdown, but we're still in New Orleans and we're of course on the back of this metallic monster, breathing fire and just looking at all the wonderful effects. And unfortunately, you're going to be watching a compressed version of this, but if you're playing it on PC at 1080 or 1440p at 144Hz, you know, everything on ultra, everything running beautifully, this game looks really, really nice, especially in this moment with all the particles and the fire and what have you. And this is actually a pretty crazy moment too. You want to be aware of the heavy enemies. The heavy enemies do the most damage. You want to be aware of the explosive tanks and the barrels because they'll damage you too. And you want to try and carry this as far as you can. If I'd have done this a few times, I would have been able to carry this for the entire duration of what was needed, but I just kind of went with it. So what's going to happen is we're going to get about halfway through this section and then this creature's going to die. I'm going to do the rest of it on foot. But a couple of tips to keep this thing alive. If you can see armor on the ground, if you go near it and pick it up, it will give this vehicle armor. And it's a really, really good idea. But this room is the tough section because there's a lot of people in it on balconies out of the range of your flamethrower. And they don't really want to rush, and they've all got really, really explosive and damaging weapons. So I'm just going to kind of bait them to come to this doorway, and then I'm just going to cook them and barbecue them good. And just enjoy the flame, you know, enjoy the spectacle of it. It's coming up on Bonfire Night, one of those cultural things that I don't think a lot of people have, because your history doesn't involve a terrorist that tried to blow up your Houses of Parliament and what have you. So we celebrate it in effigy, burning the terrorist himself and then using explosives for a good reason, because, you know, traditions are strange. But here we go. I get kicked off of the robot, so I have to move away. See that guy there? Put him down quickly with a shot from my favourite gun. And all I'm going to do now is try and get double assault rifles on and get into a position where I can fight. So he rushes me, I miss the shot. And I have to say this, right? You know, when you look at this game and you look at all the volumetric light shafts and you look at all the really fancy lighting and the bloom and the glare and the depth of field on the shadow and everything, it looks wonderful, doesn't it? It's a pain in the arse. There are times when I can't see who's shooting me. I can't see the threats. All I see are shadows with deeper, deeper shadows. It's really annoying, and I appreciate that the game looks fantastic, and all of this is so realistic and so technically majestic. But you know, when you're looking down an area and all you see is haze, you can't see a fucking thing. I really know why those old school Quake multiplayer guys played the game looking like MS Paint, because you could fucking see what you was meant to shoot. And it's one of those things that I don't really notice it on console because the graphics fidelity aren't so high. But all these wonderful effects are the type of shit that I'm probably going to start turning off. Because there are legit moments in this walkthrough where I take damage that could have been avoided had I been able to bloody see. But the game looks so goddamn gorgeous, I'm just staring at it like a painting and then it twats me in the face with a shotgun. But this is when I love the game the most. You know, when it's hectic and I've got two guns on and I'm shitting myself because I'm thinking I'm going to die because you die so damn fast and everybody's turning up and you're just panic firing. I think this is where the real high-octane, awesome shooting aspects of Wolfenstein really shine. But it's interesting that they've crafted a campaign where, especially on this difficulty, you tend to not do this. This is a rare moment in this game where you do this kind of shooting. And isn't it so strange? Like, Wolfenstein back in the day was just like Doom. Doom's come out now with a modern take on the game, and it was really hectic and really gunplay and, you know, super gameplay based, non-stop firefights, massive gauntlets and everything. And then this game comes out, is twice as fast as Doom, but doesn't have those gauntlets and those shooting moments, and isn't as shooting focused, even though they both kind of started out as the same. I find that quite interesting. Here's me looking to see what was up here. I believe I have to use the spaghetti legs, but I was taking way too much damage just then, and I didn't. Do you see? Just look at this. Why can't I climb over that fence and grab the armor? Why doesn't this game work? Just so many frustrating moments of he will not climb anything for no good reason. Machine Games, what are you doing, guys? You've made such a beautiful game, such a majestic game, and you fucked up on the dumb stuff. If you want to hire me, I'll do this shit for free and tell you that this bit is anus. Please fix it. Everybody would appreciate it. There are things that transcend gaming understanding, and one of them is bad collision and bad mantle design. Like, these are two things that you do all the time without thinking about it, and the moment it doesn't feel good, you notice it, and it's annoying. So just fix it, you know? This game could have been so much better than it is, and it's already amazing. But this is really tricky now. So not only do we have a lot of threats in this warehouse and multiple tiers, but they're also kind of difficult to see because the lighting's so dramatic and cinematic. So all I'm going to do is edge around, and the moment my reticle goes red, I'm going to shoot them with submachine guns. I also think I'm out of the ammunition for my assault rifle, so I'm not really on the weapons I like using, but I'm going to use them because I barely use them. So here is the pistole, which really reminded me of the shotgun from, is it Halo 2? Was it Halo 3 where you got that shotgun? There was a shotgun that the brutes dropped, and it was like a circular gun like that. And I'll always remember that gun, because the big gimmick, wasn't it, of Halo 2, is that you could dual wield. And that was one of the things that they made, you could dual wield. And then the next game came out, and I don't even think you could fucking dual wield, could you? You could only dual wield needlers, I think. And I never got that. Because back in the day, when I was a Nintendo fanboy, I used to take the piss out of Halo because all the features they were selling were in fucking GoldenEye back in 96 or whatever it was. So I used to just take the piss something fierce. I used to mock the tits off of every Microsoft fan, for the Xbox, of course, not for PC stuff. And just absolutely destroyed people, got into some really, really funny, interesting discussions and debates, and just roasted people, basically. And I'll always remember those shotguns, and I couldn't even tell you why I would, but the pistole is very similar to that. Anyhow, pointless Halo tangent aside, we're now going to be moving through the sewers, doing some stealth, so I'm going to be throwing my fantastic tomahawks. Isn't it funny that this game is an action game, and it has better stealth than the majority of the stealth games that I've played this year? And that's being said when the AI works. When the AI doesn't work, it's a fucking chore, but that's every game, right? I've played a lot of stealth games that haven't been as interesting as this one. There have been some that have been fantastic, like, you know, I really like Dishonored. Dishonored is such a fun game, but I don't really feel like Dishonored is proper stealth. To me, Dishonored is, I'm going to use this magic power and fly through the bloody sky, and I'm going to make it look amazing, and that's what's really fun about that game. It's like light on the stealth and heavy on the crazy teleportation. But it still has, you know, some really, really cool stealth patterns. Unlike fucking the most recent Uncharted, which had some of the worst stealth I think I've ever seen in a video game, and I'll never understand Uncharted stealth systems, because they seem to change every game you play. Like, I really liked the stealth in 2 and 3, because I knew those patterns well enough to do those levels effortlessly on their hardest difficulty without being seen. But that came after time, you know, whereas on, particularly Uncharted 4, the stealth on Uncharted 4 I always found to be just really dreadful, because it was really particular, and if you did one thing wrong, the checkpoints just weren't there to let you have another crack at it right, and it just never felt fun. And there were people who really liked it, but I just wasn't one of them. And then that most recent one, the Lost Legacy, I just didn't enjoy the stealth on that at all. It just didn't feel like it should. Because to me, I like stealth when there's an obvious pattern once you've stared at it for long enough. And I think a lot of the stuff with the most recent Uncharted AI is all dynamic AI doing crazy things. And that's wonderful if you want it to be different every time. But as somebody that makes videos to help people, having a game that's different every time is kind of the antithesis of what I do. Because I can't help you there. All I can do is give you a couple of hints and tips on what might happen. But the problem with what might happen is it might not happen, you know? And that's what makes it truly difficult. But we're coming up on the end of this video, guys, and the only thing left to do now is to throw an axe at that guy, and then throw an axe at that guy on that balcony to the right of me. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.